I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey. Well, let me tell you something, all that glitters ain't gold. Hey, hey. It's been a long old troublesome road. And I'm looking for somebody come and help me carry this load. I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need
KBLA Talk 1580 or several trillion. That's what we need. It's a Freedmen Friday. We do this every week. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and we around here at KBLA are committed to making sure you know what's going on with reparations and that we know it also. And we're also committed to being part of the solution. And I have been stunned with how much folks don't keep track, or they're just not paying attention. People who are activists in the space. So that's why we've been committed to this. It's almost 2 years we've been doing this every Friday, and we plan to keep doing it. I'm so grateful that the executive director of the LA Civil Rights Department, she was the first executive director of said department. It's called Civil Human Rights and Equity. That's the full name. She was appointed to the position in 2020 to address systemic racism and bias in the areas of commerce, education, employment, and housing. Before that, she was a senior advisor to City Attorney Mike Feuer. She is Attorney Capri Maddox.
Good morning, Dominique.
Disclosure, I should say she's also my friend.
Yes.
That doesn't go on the bio.
Proud Dominique friend and friend of the KBLA family. Appreciate all you do here and for keeping this topic alive.
Well, appreciate you. That's a huge job. Executive Director of Civil Rights. The LA Civil Rights Department, which is something most cities don't even have,
Right.
Has a lot of different things under your supervision, right?
Yeah.
You've got women's, tell me all the different things.
So sure. We fight hate, discrimination, and inequity on all fronts at LA Civil Rights Department. We are a city department under the leadership of Mayor Karen Bass, and you should know we are intentional to make sure we bring cases against folks who violate your civil rights in the private sector areas of commerce, education, employment, and housing. We also run the participatory budgeting program where we have $8.5 million going to community-based organizations. And these dollars were sent to community-based organizations based on community input, hence the title, of course, participatory budgeting. It's been done all over the world since 1989. I think it's also important to know that we have 5 commissions: the Commission on the Status of Women, as you mentioned, the Human Relations Commission, the Transgender Advisory Council. We also have the work that we are doing, diligently as we lift up work from our other commissions. The work that we're doing is intentional to make sure we send a strong message that hate has no home in Los Angeles. The Civil Rights Commission actually allows us to bring cases against folks who violate your civil rights. And we also are very well aware that we have the Reparations Advisory Commission, and that is what we're here to talk about today. Some folks should know you can learn more about us at laisforeveryone.com. And some people are aware of our hate crime prevention campaigns. We have a new one that just dropped thanks to resources from the Weingart Foundation and our friends at the Port of Los Angeles and the Public Library that just say hello. It's a spinoff of our LA is for Everyone
Hello.
campaign. Exactly. We're encouraging people from different backgrounds to speak to one another.
To make the city more friendly. I remember when I first came to LA, I used to say hi to everyone and they would tell me, "You're not from here, huh?" That was something we don't do. But unlike a growing number of cities, Los Angeles has seated a Reparations Advisory Commission.
Yes.
Actually, LA was one of the earlier cities to do it, right?
Yes. In 2021, we assembled the the committee. This commission was actually started by former Mayor Garcetti, and the big champion in this space, the two major champions in this space were former council member Mark Willie Thomas, council member Kern Price, and of course we have support also from our city council president, Marquise Harris Dawson.
So I just putting this in context because you have a lot of different hats that you wear as executive director of LA Civil Rights, and the Reparations Advisory Commission is one. We know that last year you issued not you personally, but the commission and your department issued a preliminary report.
Yes.
Which is something I encourage people to check out. It's still on the website.
Yes.
Really kind of pretty groundbreaking, I thought.
Right. It's a 400-page document, but you can go chapter by chapter, whatever subject you wish to focus on. Once you start reading it, you'll continue to go through it, whether it is learning about racial terror or being intentional to understand how housing and housing discrimination and racial covenants impact folks. So we really want to be intentional to make sure that we made a record of the wrongs that happened even in Los Angeles, because a lot of people think, well, why does Los Angeles need reparations? We didn't have slavery here in the city of Los Angeles proper, but you have to keep in mind that California would send folks back to the antebellum South if folks were accused of being fugitive slaves. And oftentimes there were a lot of freed people that were sent to the South. And then, of course, we know that throughout the 20th century, there were some wrongs that continued to happen. A lot of things like our racial covenants and other issues continued to be a problem and a challenge for African Americans, even in the City of Angels.
When you say racial covenants, those are they're contractual pieces that stop certain groups from doing certain things, i.e. buying a house.
Yes. And a lot of people say, that's something that happened in the past. But keep in mind, there are folks living in affluent neighborhoods who had ancestors or parents who were able to buy those houses 60 years ago. There's some affluent neighborhoods in Los Angeles 60 years ago, you were able to buy a home for $18,000. But now those houses cost a lot more money, and the generational wealth, the big transfer of generational wealth is happening right now, and probably in the next 10 years or so. And so you have a lot of people losing their parents in their 50s. But guess what? When their parents pass away, they may have a gain of $2 million, $4 million when they have house sales, but none of those people look like us, and
that's because
a
it was
majority of those
literally
people.
illegal.
Yes,
like they couldn't go in and buy
right.
the house.
We couldn't buy the houses on the west side when they were only $18,000. We are. And of course, by the time covenants were opened up and people really started making it so that African Americans and others were comfortable to live in these communities, we were priced out of the market in many instances. And I'll leave it here. I just want to say this is something that happened to the Armenian community, Jewish community, people who were Italian. I just had the Armenian Bar Association call me about racial covenants because they were excluded from communities as well.
Right. But that's another part of your portfolio, right, which is discrimination.
Right.
And whereas reparations is focused solely on the Black American experience, since
yes.
we're the only ones that were actually enslaved.
Right.
So that report came out, and I learned a lot of stuff from that. And I consider myself to be an activist who tracks reparations, who tracks racism, and there's just a lot of stuff in there that I don't think most Angelenos know. So I would encourage you to check it out if you have a chance. Was there anything that was uncovered that really opened your eyes, Capri Maddox, where you were like, wow, I did not realize this about LA?
So I didn't realize how many installations of the KKK were in Los Angeles. And I didn't, I think a lot of people have made the connection to the KKK and policing. But I think to see it in black and white, to see almost, the influence and the percentage of people from KKK who really sought positions in law enforcement. I think the economic wealth, just to understand how many billions of, in today's dollars, how many billions of dollars were lost from our community due to racism. As a city employee, I was not startled, but just I found it interesting to see how we were excluded from government employment, or when we were allowed to become government employees, it was very clear in black and white that we made the least, and we had oftentimes the harder jobs, of course, janitors and jobs that other people really did not seek after in the when we had the employment with the city. We did the hardest work for the least amount of money, basically.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by the number of KKK chapters too. Mm-hmm. It's just not something you think of when you think of LA. At least I didn't. So again, lots of things to unpack there. When we come forward, I want to talk about the next steps. We were speaking on this last week. The preliminary report is out. What comes next for the city of LA? It's a tough time in our country for anything that helps black people, anything that can be labeled DEI, let alone reparations. So looking at those next steps when we continue on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's gonna be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with the IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Conversation does continue. It's not just me. Attorney Capri Maddox is here. She is the executive director of the LA Civil Rights Department, which among its 5 commissions seats one on reparations, the Reparations Advisory Commission. Technically, that commission is it sunsetted now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were assigned with the task of making sure we had a report on the Black experience for the last 100 years. We need to be intentional to make sure we keep a record, especially when we're living in times of erasure of our stories. We want to be certain that we are keeping records of what it was like to be an African American in Los Angeles and to understand the harms slavery, discrimination, and racism still play in our lives, and how it's taken so much wealth from our communities. And some estimates are $7.2 billion. Wow. That's the cost of discrimination for Angelenos.
So when we talk about the Reparations Commission sunsetting, the job was done. It's just like the state. Right. The state task force disbanded officially after that report was dropped. And I don't know how I missed this, but apparently the full report is now available?
Yes. Since February of 2025, we had an event at Cal State Northridge asking people for input and insights, but we are intentional to let you know the report. It's about 400 pages. It's online. People can find it.
Little weekend reading for us, family.
laisforeveryone.com, and you can read the full report. Super grateful for our partners at Mockingbird Analytics, and a special shout out to Cal State Northridge for their leadership. Dr. Gamage, as well as Dr. Selassie and others, Dr. Stanford and others really lifted this work to make sure we were able to document these stories from Angelenos. So Angelenos were telling the stories about harms as it relates to policing, harms as it relates to discriminatory practices in employment, even to get city jobs, or how discrimination with zoning laws impacted our lives for life. And in many instances, we can look at the redlining maps from the 1930s, and those neighborhoods impacted are still communities where we find harms. And, it's been 100 years. And when you think about where the COVID-19 mortalities happen, more people dying of COVID even, those same areas, South LA, East LA, down to the harbor, some parts of Arleta, Pacoima, et cetera. So these communities in some instances are still hurting, and we are grateful that we have the responsibility to lift all communities for a better Los Angeles.
Well, I mean, I do want to commend you and the mayor for putting this report out in the environment we're in. It's it's not just anti-DEI environment, which we see coming out of Washington, but also anything that seems to help Black people. So I think it's great that the report is out, the full report is out. And to your point, we have a record because we see records of our history being erased and revised. And so we do have this now for the city of LA. What happens next? When we had the event that I was part of last year, when the preliminary report was issued, my understanding was we would have the full report, and then that would go to the mayor and the council.
Exactly. And I do believe the report came out at some point at the end of 2024. But I want to be intentional to let you know the information is going to be before council soon. We are waiting for our commissioners to complete some of their thoughts, and we expect this report will go to the full city council within the next couple of months. We're intentional. We would love for it to go forward to city council by November.
Yeah, okay, so the plan is toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
It will hit the council. Because Commissioner Muhammad was here last week,
Yes.
and she did say pretty much what you just said, which is that the commissioners are finalizing their recommendations. Those recommendations go to the council and the mayor.
Right.
And then the mayor and the council does what?
So the mayor and the council will have an opportunity to understand what some of the suggestions are as it relates to righting some of these wrongs. Some of the solutions range anywhere between from apologies to cash payments. We know, given this economic environment, the city is facing a shortfall of close to $1 billion. We also so cash payments might be more of a challenge. Even thinking about more hiring opportunities, which would also be more of a challenge because we have limitations as it relates to positions in the city of Los Angeles due to the budget crisis. And some folks are aware of challenges Los Angeles faces in general. When we think about the fires, the unhoused population, and of course now the budget crisis. And of course, we've had many leaders on this microphone talking about the ICE raids and some of the issues as it relates to what's happening nationally. We're looking at budgets where we may have to think about how much money we will actually get from the federal government, for example.
Right, not for reparations, just for anything.
For anything,
yeah.
Even for existing grants. Yeah.
Right, and we've been talking a lot about that on the show on Monday through Friday. But on the other hand, we always hear this, and I'm sure you've heard it before. Of course, California's having a budget crisis, which is one of the reasons why the state, some of the state task force recommendations have been slow starting, or that's the reason given, and I'm sure we're going to continue to hear this. And Paul Lee in the chat says, well, we'll take a payment plan, and I always think about it like the part of the thing is to have the intentionality and set those things in motion. We're never going to have the trillions of dollars just at the ready
right.
to close the wealth gap, to really enact the kind of sweeping repair that is needed.
Right.
But I think what people are looking for is a good faith effort at moving the needle.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and really want to. You were talking about the state, and I just want to thank our Black Caucus. When you think about our state leaders who are standing in this space. We want to be intentional to know that this is not just a Los Angeles issue. This is not just a national issue, but our state leaders have been, standing up in this space as well. I know you've had many of our state elected officials on this program.
And I'm laughing because a lot of the people that listen to this show are angry with those folks for not following through last August and for not forcing the governor to make the decision. But I the spirit of what you're saying is received, because I also know that people are moving forward with other legislation,
and people are trying to make some things right. And like I said, we have relationships with many folks from the state Black Caucus, many folks who help us in different ways. And so we want to be intentional to say this. During these times, it's important for us to be united. And that's something that I think it's really important to share, even as it relates to the governor. Some people may not be, thrilled with what happened as it relates to reparations. And
well, I mean, I'm one of those people.
Right. I know.
I'm not at all thrilled with what the governor did.
Right.
But, you know, I'm
You've said
also
the quiet
standing
part.
with him on, yeah, I do say the quiet part out loud. I think you know that about me. But I'm also going to stand with him on Prop
Yes.
50 because we got to do what we got to do.
Right. And so I appreciate his leadership, especially where we're facing these ICE raids and other issues. So really wanted to make that very, very clear that we stand united as Angelenos and as Californians.
Yeah. That's that LA is for everyone energy.
Yes,
Attorney Capri Maddox has. We're talking reparations and where we are at with the city of Los Angeles. So this could be a big year if this at least is being considered by the city council, considered by the mayor, and we will see the way forward. We'll continue this conversation when we come back on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says he may declare a national housing emergency, blaming high interest rates in Federal Chair Jerome Powell.
We need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the move could help lower costs by easing zoning laws, cutting tariffs, and boosting housing supply. Black couple Marcus Ragland and Ashley Brooke Hawkins, parents of 7 from Rome, Georgia, died in an ATV crash at Indian Mountain Park in Alabama. Ragland was driving and all 7 children survived, but were injured, some airlifted to hospitals. The crash happened Sunday in Cherokee County. And NBA star James Harden's Houston restaurant 13 has been shut down over more than $2 million in unpaid rent and expenses. A sign on the door says the locks were changed. Harden had guaranteed the lease, but the restaurant hasn't responded to inquiries. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Saving money on tires and auto repair services is a big deal. That's why Big O offers a low price guarantee on tires with big deals like this. Now buy 3 select tires, get the 4th tire free with paid installation during our September to Remember, now at Big O Tires.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilmember Curran Price, inviting you to the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September the 20th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We've got 4 pavilions, 3 stages of live music, plus food, fun, and a marketplace all along historic Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Ave. Our featured acts this year are Gregory Porter, Pancho Sanchez, and Jasmine Horn at the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September 20th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. along Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Avenue. Come out and bring the whole family because this legendary celebration is free. For more information, go to centralavjazzfest.com. I'm LA Councilmember Curran Price, and I absolutely approve this message.
Imagine a world without heart disease and stroke, where every person has the chance to live a full and healthy life. Join us for a walk to save lives at the American Heart Association's Greater Los Angeles Heart and Stroke Walk, Saturday, September 20th at the Rose Bowl. Every step made and every dollar raised means more people learning CPR, more life-saving research, and more time with the ones we love. Sign up at heartwalkla.org. The LA Heart and Stroke Walk is sponsored by Optum, UCLA Health, Keck Medicine of USC, and Dignity Health.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-79 exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
What make you? Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
And we're talking with attorney Capri Maddox. She is the executive director of the LA Civil Rights Department, which housed the Reparations Advisory Commission. Didn't realize this. My weekend is going to be a busy one. We have the full Reparations Commission report that dropped February of this year.
2025.
And right, so we had the executive summary last year.
Right, you were there.
I was there for that one. But the full report dropped in February. Yes. You said we hope. Now we're waiting for the commissioners to submit their full list of recommendations, some of which were hinted at last week on the show. And then Friday Jones,
Commissioner.
She's
Commissioner Friday to us. Constance Jones Muhammad.
And then that we're hoping that will go to the city council and the mayor by the end of the year, around November. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say, and the timing is going to be crazy because 2026 is an election year, right? So let's say that because of budget cuts or schedules or the election or whatever, we don't see the implementation of these recommendations right away. Do we get more bites at the apple? I mean, you mentioned the state. They had, in my opinion, a huge fail last year, but now they're coming back with different legislation, and I assume this will be a continuous project. They said they had a 10-year plan.
Right.
Do we as a city have that opportunity, or is it one and done?
Well, first things, we don't know where this is going to go with the city council. And I anticipate there may be some challenges as it relates to all of the resources that have been requested, or all of the solutions
right. I mean, that's
happening right now.
And that's why I'm asking, because if they say, oh, it's a down budget year, or it's an election year, can the city council take up this report again in 2027 and 28 and 29?
They have many options. And one thing I think is really important is that we have a record. And this is, some folks say we have the receipts. We know the harm racism and the remnants of slavery cost Angelenos. And I think that is important for us moving forward. And that was the real assignment as it relates to the Reparations Advisory Commission. We want to be intentional to know City Council may defer some of these solutions, or they could accept them outright. And so we'll follow the process as it goes forward. And I do think there folks on the city council who understand the wrongs and the harms. And there may be, I know we have some activists who will probably be weighing in with some of the elected officials, as well as this goes to city council and the public comment when it does hit city council. So I'm very, optimistic that if we can't get something done right away, that we do have a record of what happened. And then, of course, there may be some solutions, even if they're further down the road.
I mean, and to be clear, this is a study that was created under the Civil Rights Department, which is under the authority of the mayor. So the mayor also has a role to play in this as well.
And the mayor's been really supportive of our department in general. The budget, shortfalls have still hit us, but
hit us is the department in danger?
The department's not in danger. However, our budget did drop from $5.1 million, and we're now down to $3.8 million. I will say we've had some support from key city council people. I'll tell you, the city council members who reached out the most to help us with the budget, folks from the Budget and Finance Committee. Well, we had our very own Heather Hutt.
Not surprising.
Right. Think about solutions and save a couple of positions. And then, of course, Tim McCosker from the 15th Council District.
Interesting.
Yes. By the way, he also is a named supporter of the report. And that was something he initiated. I've found Tim McCosker to actually be an ally in some of this work, a surprising ally in so many spaces. Like I said, he is, if you read the report, you'll see Tim's name in there as someone who was interested in this work,
along with our Black City Council members are all
Council
on there.
District 8, 9, and 10,
Price, Marquise Harris Dawson, and
right.
of course Heather Hutt.
Of course.
Well, among the things, but 3.85 something to 3.8 is a huge cut. I'm sure you lost staff.
Yes.
But but so far no indication that the Civil Rights Department will be shuttered.
Right, and we're very grateful, and it's unfortunate that some departments were consolidated. We think about the good folks at the Department of Aging, EWDD, Economic Workforce Development, as well as the youth department. And the funny thing about this is I'm a person of a certain age. I have a teenager at home, and my husband's a small business owner. And so, just no one wants to see any departments consolidated.
Shrink, of course.
But it's something that had something that is happening. And it's all unfortunate. It's kind of like seeing your neighbor's house burn down.
Yeah, I mean, it's the environment that we're in.
It still hurts us all.
So I'm going to run some of these things by you. Obviously, this is a sneak peek, kind of, because these recommendations my understanding, have not come from the commission formally to you, which would then formally go to the council and the mayor. But they are some of the things that Commissioner Khansa Mohammed was talking about. Of course, we already spoke on the cash piece, which has to be addressed. She talked about housing. She talked about historical markers.
Yes.
In this city, which we're starting to see that a little bit, but specific to reparations. She talked about genealogists. I mean, there's a lot more, but start with those three.
Yeah. So when we think about the markers, for example, the making a record of what happened. I think it's something that, and the years gone by, say, of course, people are going to, keep records in these spaces. When it comes to, housing opportunities, that's a big divide. Leveling the playing field as it relates to housing, and then of course the other issue that you mentioned was...
Okay, I have got so many of them here. Historical markers, housing, and genealogists.
Genealogy, yes. She wants the city, the people want the city to actually hire genealogists. And the reason this is important for folks is to understand who are the descendants of slaves. Some people know their history. I'm a descendant of slaves. We need to know.
I'm one of those.
Exactly.
And
so
receipts.
for some people, it's easier to prove. And for us to really understand who should benefit from this, when you think about it from constitutional law aspect, we want to make sure there is a nexus between the harm and the benefit. And for some people, that is a sticking point, and you've had many people on your program. Some people think that all people who maybe African American or of African descent should receive the benefits, whatever they are. But I think it's important to know why folks wanted to have city-sponsored genealogists to help us, or at least the test available, so people know their history and know their background.
I mean, these are some of the kinds of things that we're talking about. And anything, whether it's a cash payment, although that would be much more, or genealogists, it's still going to cost money.
Yes.
And so that's going to have to be addressed, whether it's incrementally or all at once, which we know is highly unlikely. And so I think part of what she was talking about is some kind of a temperature gauge, which whether that would be the creation of a city agency under a department that would be designated as a Freedmen's agency within the city.
Right. And that again, when we're thinking about some operations being shut down or limited, this is a challenge to think about a new operation being created. However, for us to be in this space, and I'm going to give a big shout out to Diamond James, who's been carrying all of this work. And before her, we had David Price. We want to be intentional and make sure that we do all we can while we can. That's really been like the underlying motto of the Civil Rights Department, whether it's building our spaces, getting things up and going. I mean, even finding money for this study would have been a challenge in these times, and I'm really grateful for the leadership who really made these dollars available for us to even do this study. Former Councilmember Mark Lee Thomas, Andre Herden, who was the Chief of Staff for former Mayor Garcetti, making sure we had the dollars to even pay for the study, something we couldn't do now. And so I'm grateful that we moved at such a speed.
Yeah, those are great points. Capri Maddox, Attorney Capri Maddox is with me. She is the Executive Director of the LA Civil Rights Department. Did you say thousands of complaints already this year, civil rights complaints?
Yes.
So even
with 2,000 complaints already from January to September.
Civil rights complaints, meaning things you may follow up on to help people make sure that they get their rights or they're not discriminated against. So even with this reduced budget, the work continues.
Right. We even had to lay off our staff attorney in this space, of course, to lose someone during these times in 2025. That was a blow, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep moving forward because the community needs some relies on us.
You're welcome to weigh in either on the YouTube comments at KBLA 1580 or in person by phone at 800-920-1580. It's a Freedmen Friday on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilmember Curran Price, inviting you to the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September the 20th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We've got 4 pavilions, 3 stages of live music, plus food, fun, and a marketplace all along historic Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Ave. Our featured acts this year are Gregory Porter, Pancho Sanchez, and Jasmine Horn. at the 30th anniversary of the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, Saturday, September 20th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. along Central Avenue between MLK Boulevard and Vernon Avenue. Come out and bring the whole family because this legendary celebration is free. For more information, go to centralavjazzfest.com. I'm LA Councilmember Curran Price, and I absolutely approve this message.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
1455 Frazee, San Diego. CordellCordell.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Hate loses and love wins. That's KBLA. But it sounds a little bit like the LA Civil Rights Department. LA is for everyone. Capri Maddox is here with us. She is the executive director of that department, which housed the Reparations Advisory Commission. Jacqueline Anderson and others in the chat are asking, where is this final report? How do we get it? It is now available, and I didn't even realize that. So that's breaking news for us today. Congratulations on that. That's a huge deal.
Thank you.
You know, we started this under Mayor Garcetti, but the report has been released with your guidance.
Right.
The cooperation of Cal State Northridge and under this mayor, Mayor Karen Bass. So it's now available.
Yeah, folks can find it at laisforeveryone.com. You can go to commissions, and then under commissions, you can find reparations. And that's where you can see the entire report. We have an executive summary as well. And that's only 60 pages, but the full report is almost 400 pages. But you can just pick a chapter. Whether it's enslavement or racial terror, political disenfranchisement, housing segregation, separate and unequal education, racism and the environment and infrastructure, control over creative, cultural, and intellectual life, stolen labor, and hindered opportunity, the unjust legal system, mental and physical harm and neglect, and the wealth gap. And then, thinking about how our Black families have been separated and impacted by some of these harms is another chapter as well. So I think it's important for people to know that this research was done primarily to show the impact on being a Black Angelino from 1925 until now. We have people who have stories. They're passing away, and no one's really done a comprehensive study to ask people to come forward with their stories. Some people have come forward with their deeds and or some of the harms, photos of their uncles beaten by the police, 60 years ago. May not have been a big story, but someone now has a record of the wrong. These are first person experiences submitted by Black Angelenos all over the city. And of course, this is moving forward to City Council. I believe it may go first to our amazing Civil Rights Committee from City Council. And I really say amazing because Hugo Soto Martinez is the chair of that committee, and he has been nothing but supportive as it relates to the work of the LA Civil Rights Department. Almost everything we do to lift a better Los Angeles, he's been there for us.
And again, that's something people probably weren't tracking. When we have a situation like we're in right now, right, where we have this work that came out, much of it came out of 2020, and the marching, the leveling up of consciousness that we were experiencing at that time. Here we are in a completely different era where many efforts like what you lead at LA Civil Rights and certainly Reparations are under attack. And we have shrinking budgets post-COVID, post-fire.
Right.
Do you feel like it's still a long-term project, or do you feel like it's now or never?
You know, I do. I think we need to be in the long game, and there are different people working different aspects of it. There's some folks that are all long game, and even on our commission, Commissioner Virgil Roberts, for example, says, I want everything that's going to happen sooner rather than later, and for the pressure to be on for folks to do things within the next 24 months if they're going to do it at all. And then there are some people who are playing the long game. There's some people who have been in this game for a long time, like Commissioner Constance Jones Muhammad. Like, she is the expert reparationist on the commission, and others have been in the struggle for a very long time. Mandalay Kaise has also been on your program. We have people who have been in this space for a long, long time. But I do think there comes a point where if this is ever going to happen, it needs to happen sooner rather than later.
At least to move.
Yeah. Well, you have to keep in mind that there's always going to be something. And even when you think about I really want to stay away from the state issue, but when that state commission was created, we had $100 billion surplus.
Right. And
so in good time, in good times or bad times, and of course I know the state and even the city now are, dealing with some budget shortfalls. We need to be intentional to say what we're going to do and actually do it.
Right. And as Jerry Anderson says, at least create the roadmap. What about efforts like in Evanston, where they said, okay, all the cannabis money is going to this, or setting aside a specific revenue stream?
Yeah, so really appreciate Evanston, Illinois, and their work in the restorative housing program, which allocated $10 million over 10 years toward eligible residents for payments of $25,000, right? And we know that there have been some legal challenges in that with that work, but I appreciate the folks of Evanston actually putting something together, making it plain, making it reasonable. Of course, it's not going to get to the billions or trillions of dollars, but people need to know the harm was acknowledged and there is some remedy. One remedy to some of the harms we've put forward in the city, for example, that has worked was the repair program. And, it's a long acronym, but basically it's, to deal with, restoring some support to the communities impacted by systemic racism and discriminatory practices. And again, those the repair program, and people can go to repair.lacity.org, or you can also find those maps and the 19 nonprofits which have been selected for the repair program of $8.5 million through the participatory budgeting. Those dollars went to the neighborhoods where discriminatory practices hurt communities. They have the environmental hazards, the overcrowding, the rent burden, and again, as I mentioned, more people died in those communities as a result of the COVID-19 crisis.
Got about a minute here. How do we, the public, the Freedmen Friday crew, how do we step forward and make sure our mayor and our council knows that we support this work and we want to see action on some of these recommendations?
Okay. First thing, I think it's important for people to follow us on the social media at LA Civil Rights. People can also sign up for our newsletter every 2 weeks. I work very hard on this newsletter. With Nicole Bryant, our COO. To get, we put out information. We only send you information about our department, so you can keep up with where things are, what we're doing, and then of course through City Council. There's some people savvy. I know you have some savvy folks in the comments that follow City Council meetings and have an idea of how to make their voices heard, contacting their council members if they are interested in this work. But definitely start with following us to see where we are in the process. And in our newsletter, we'll tell people when things are moving forward. But very, very grateful for the opportunity to do this work, and very, very grateful for KBLA supporting us and keeping this in the forefront of people's minds.
Well, Attorney Capri Maddox and the entire LA Civil Rights Department, thank you for getting this across the finish line in such tough times. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks to Tavis and you and Miles for the work you all do at 1580 AM. It has been a pleasure.
Phone lines are open after news, traffic, and sports. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you know where you are. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says he may declare a national housing emergency, blaming high interest rates in Federal Chair Jerome Powell.
We need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late.
Treasury Secretary